Hey, it's Marc, and this is Alter Ego Comics TV for the week of April 28th, 2021. Happy New Comic Book Day. I'm here to give you my recommendations for things you should pick up at your local comic shop this week. First up is my pick of the week, Robin, issue number 1. This is written by Joshua Williamson, artwork by... We'll get there. There we go. Gleb Melnikov. Artwork is stunning in this issue. It's fantastic. So Damian Wayne is off on his own trying to prove himself in the world of assassins by basically attending the Kumite, reference to an old Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. Basically the ultimate fighting championship that happens once every 100 years on Lazarus Island, and there are some heavy hitters here, some familiar faces that you'll recognize, as well as some new characters, so some first appearances in here. But man, is this good. And I may have said this in the past. I'm not a huge Damian Wayne fan, but the more I read, the more I like him. And especially in the hands of an amazing writer like Williamson. So this was my pick of the week. It was actually tied for my wife's pick of the week, and she is not a superhero / DC fan at all. So you don't really have to know anything about Damian Wayne, aka Robin, going into this. If you do, that's a little bit of a plus, but I think you'll still dig it even if you have no idea who this character is. It's just a really well-written, amazingly drawn first issue. We've got a lot of second issues out this week. I'm trying to see if I have another number 1. I don't in my stack, so the rest are number 2s. Berserker number 2 by Keanu Reeves, Matt Kindt, and Ron Garney is finally here. And it is excellent. Really, again, well-written. Garney's art style fits the story incredibly well, and we get a fair amount of origin story for the main character in this one. I don't even know if he's got a name at this point. I believe that the psychiatrist / doctor that he's working with calls him B at one point. I don't know if that's for Berserker or what. But if you picked up issue number 1, it's time to come back and grab number 2. If you didn't, you can probably still find copies of number 1. I know we still have first printings at Alter Ego. And it's a solid, enjoyable ride so far. 12-issue miniseries, so you don't have to, you're not in for the long haul, and it was announced several weeks ago that this has been optioned by Netflix for both a live-action movie and an anime-style cartoon. Detective Comics number 1035, or 1035, written by Mariko Tamaki, artwork by Dan Mora. This continues to be a really excellent run on this book. We're only 2 issues in. You can probably still find the first part of their run. And this is Bruce Wayne without the mansion, without the Batcave. And one of his neighbors is kidnapped, possibly murdered. I don't want to give too much away, but it was really, really good. And as you'll see a trend as we go through here, there's a lot of DC in this pile, which is a little bit different for me. I mean, I love all comics, but DC is firing on all cylinders post Future State, and Detective Comics is a good example of that. Let's just stay with DC for right now. We'll go with another number 2, Harley Quinn number 2, written by Stephanie Phillips, artwork by Riley Rossmo. Again, continues to be an excellent story. You can probably still find copies of number 1, so jump in with both feet, grab number 1 and number 2, and we get to see Harley as a hero-ish. Coming out of Joker War, she saved Batman's bacon, and she's now kind of sort of a member of the Bat family. And that's a story that I want to read. So this has been very enjoyable. Action Comics number 1030. This is the first part of Philip Kennedy Johnson's massive Action Comics story. We talked to him several weeks ago when Alien number 1 launched, which he also wrote, and he gave us a little insight into Warworld Rising, which is the title of the storyline. This is part the first. Great opportunity to jump into a new Superman story that is going to have a lot of space action in Action Comics. Great artwork by Daniel Sampierre. as well. Really, really great combo. Again, I got to tip my hat to DC for choosing some great writer-artist combos on their books coming out of Future State. More number twos. Destiny New York, number 2 by Pat Shand and Manuel Pretano, continues to be excellent from Black Mask. This is kind of a grown-up Harry Potter. Not a whole lot on the magic side, but instead of developing magical abilities, the people in this book, there are students that have their destinies revealed to them, and there are seers, there are good guys, good girls, bad girls, and our main character Logan is just a great character. This is excellent writing by Shand, and there's a letter in the back by him that it feels a little bit like he's trying to prove himself, which is fair because he's done a lot of work over at Zenescope, and a lot of people don't pick up Zenescope books based strictly on the cover art, or they think it's all TNA cheesecake stuff, and it's not. Zenescope publishes some great stories, and now Shand is getting a chance to stretch his legs and his writing muscles working for Black Mask, and he's got some other stuff coming down the road. So we still have copies of number 1. Highly recommend checking out Destiny New York, as well as Shadecraft. Issue number 2 is out this week. Issue number 1 may have been my pick of the week when it came out. This is written by Joe Henderson, artwork by Lee Garbett, stunning artwork by Lee Garbett. I may have said the exact same thing with issue number 1, about a teenage girl who is seeing shadows come to life. Shadows attack her. Her comatose brother may actually be a shadow. Don't want to give too much away with this one, but it's a really well-written story with gorgeous artwork by Lee Garbett. And in the Wayback Machine, we get X-Men Legends number 3. This is the first of a 2-part story, I believe, by the classic X Factor lineup of Louise Simonson writing and her husband Walt Simonson doing the art chores. So if you are a fan of that era of X Factor, I highly recommend that you pick it up. We get Apocalypse, we get their ship, which is sentient, the 5 core original X-Men now in their roles as X-Factor, and this takes place shortly after the, Inferno crossover. So X-Men Legends number 3 is the beginning of a new short story, a new 2-part story, perhaps. But any chance that I get to see Walt Simonson artwork, I'm going to jump at it. Lots of great graphic novels this week that you want to check out, including the new one by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. This is the new Reckless book, Friend of the Devil. Highly recommended the first one when it came out, and I haven't had a chance to read this one yet, but I will read it before the end of the week. This is kind of an 80s PI story, former FBI agent who's now a PI, crime noir, which is Brubaker and Phillips' wheelhouse, so to speak. They own it these days. So if you're a fan of these two creators or a fan of crime noir books, check out the new Reckless hardcover. We also get the sequel to Deceased, available in hardcover. This is Deceased Dead Planet by Tom Taylor and Trevor Hairsine, the team behind the original Deceased story. It's 5 years later, and there is possibly a cure for the virus that has infected the DC universe. So Deceased Dead Planet is now available. And another one from DC, we get Hellblazer, Rise and Fall. This is an oversized hardcover from their Black Label imprint, written by Tom Taylor, again, the writer of Dead Planet. This time we get artwork by Derek Robertson, who you may recall from The Boys. So if you're a Constantine fan, Hellblazer fan, this is a fantastic story. It was 3 single oversized issues, and now it's available in an oversized hardcover. That's it for this week. Another stellar week for new comic books. So go on out and support your local comic shop and pick up some cool stuff. These are my recommendations. Let me know what yours are in the comments below. And make sure to leave a comment. Make sure to like and subscribe. And I appreciate your attention. I appreciate your time watching this video. And I will see you again next week.